let's get back to Matt, who we are honored to have here. Matt, thank you again so much for giving us your evening.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Go ahead, guys. Take over.
Okay.
Ruby Bears.
Okay.
All right, well, before we get too far here, we just got to say thank you guys for your support. Once again, we got to thank Pat for this was all his idea. Tune into his show every Saturday. He's got awesome, like he said, he's already announced all these awesome guests that he has. So please tune in. Without him, this show wouldn't exist. So,
we would also like to thank Courtney from Utah Gamers.
Yes, Courtney, thank you so much for everything that you do and for really helping us promote this show. And you are so awesome. So, period. If you ever want us to say something on here, we'll do it for you. So, all right. We are going to give away some prizes. So, now real quick, how these prizes work. The best way to get a prize, calling in. That's the fastest way to get a prize. So, you can also message. You can also do in the chat. But that's the best way to get the prize. Or you can email me at watson@jwattproductions.com, and that's JWAT1T Productions.com. We're going to give away our Redbox rentals. This is 6 Redbox rentals you get. So we're going to ask a trivia question. Like I said, the people who call in get priority, and that number is 801-254 5855 for everyone here in Utah. And then, so get that number ready for when we ask the question. And also the number for anyone out of state or out of country, I believe you said, right, Pat?
Yes, anybody.
It's 1-888-919-2355. So the question is for the Redbox Rentals, what is going to be the title of the spin-off series from Breaking Bad? So once again, what is the title, or what's going to be the title, of the spin-off series of Breaking Bad?
All right, and the number locally is 801-254-5855. I'm going to repeat that. 801-254-5855. And for the rest of you that are not local, the number is 1-888-919-2355. Once more, 1-888-919-2355.
Awesome. So Arthur was kind enough to...
You want to take a call? You already got
we already got a call. Let's
Wow,
see.
that was quick.
Yep.
Okay. Caller, good evening. Welcome to G.A.M.E.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Caller, are you there?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello, caller.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Oh. Well, if you called, and hopefully you can call back.
Yeah.
Well, that's sorry. Well, whoever it was,
Let's
they
try
were
it
really
again.
quick.
Let's see
We got to
Caller, are you there?
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Maybe it's a ghost.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Nobody there.
Hello, 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 hello.
All right. Well, you can still get in there and give us a call. It's still up for grabs. All right. Well, we're going to continue with the show until we get someone on there who asks us a question. So we're going to talk about, or Arthur's going to talk about what we're going to talk about.
All right, well, we're talking about Nintendo.
Let's try it again.
Okay, last chance.
All right, caller, welcome to G.A.M.E.
All right, can you hear me this time?
Let's try it again. You there, caller?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
There we
gotcha.
go.
Nice.
Yay! Sorry, technology at its best.
We're so happy to hear you.
Yeah.
So, hey, caller, what's your name?
My name is Adam.
Hey, Adam, how's it going? Are you the same Adam on the chat?
I am not, no.
Oh, wow. All right, cool. We got 2 Adams listening on here. That's awesome. Yep. So are you here to ask a question, or are you here to answer the trivia?
I'm here to answer that trivia question.
Awesome. What's your
I believe it's called Better Call Saul.
Nice, my friend. Awesome. Congratulations. Yep, you won the red box. So what we need you to do is shoot me an email. So Watson, WATSON, at jwattproductions.com. That's JWAT and then productions.com. Just shoot me an email and say, hey, man, I'm Adam. I was the one who answered the question. And, yeah, and then we'll get in touch with you and get you those Redbox rentals. Sound good, man?
Yeah, can you give me that email one more time?
Yes, of course. Watson, so WATSON, at JWAT, JWAT, just one T,
okay,
and then productions.com.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Adam. Thanks for supporting the show. You have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. Thanks. Got another caller lined up.
All right, let's see. Yeah, we got another caller.
Caller, good evening. Welcome to G.A.M.E. Hello, caller. Oh.
Cricket noises. All right. Well, maybe they hang up because maybe they were trying to get the prizes. So, all right. Well, thanks, Adam, for that. You were awesome. So let's. Sorry, Arthur. What were you talking about?
All right. So, sorry about that.
No, sorry, we gave away prizes.
No, we're sorry about our phones. We're not sorry about the prizes. But anyway, so for those that are just joining us, I'm Arthur. I'm here with Watson and Sonic Toast or Matt. Whatever you prefer.
Whatever you want to call me. Rabbits.
Just not Shirley. But anyway, what we... Yeah, you got it. What we are going to talk about now, well, still more, is Nintendo. So let's just start off the bat, kind of like... This will be redundant, maybe. Favorite characters. Let's start with that.
Favorite characters?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to go with Link. I mean, when I first played Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time as a kid, it just blew my mind. And it really was one of the games that opened my mind to things. So, and I just love that you can put so much personality into a character that doesn't talk. Or you could love a character so much who doesn't talk. So, most of the Nintendo characters don't seem to say much, which is actually pretty awesome. Like, it seems like and I'm sure some things vary, and I'm sure, a lot of them have had their own cartoon shows, but that has to be my character. And I know that's a lot of other people's, but I have to say that's mine. What about you, Sonic?
Well, of course, I got to go with Luigi, mainly because I have older brothers. So growing up with an NES, I was always player 2, if I could get my hands on a control at all. So, I just grew to love Luigi because of that.
Awesome. That's a good one. What about you, Arthur?
Cool. Well, I probably would have said Link, but that's okay. I think I'm going to go with Yoshi then. Like, Yoshi! But I really loved Yoshi's Island, like the original one. Like, that game is still the best. So, yeah.
Bum, bada, bum, bada, bum, bum. Beginning of every level.
There you go. Awesome. Could we talk about maybe some of our favorite games? I guess that goes along with our favorite characters. Let's start with Sonic Toast.
All right. Well, favorite game.
If you want to wait for a couple hours while he says no.
Yeah, that's a majorly loaded question there. Are we sticking to just Nintendo strictly?
Yes, Nintendo strictly.
Okay, so I won't go into the Sega realm then. But, one of my favorites, it was one that actually gets a lot of crap from people, is Super Mario Bros. 2, where you pull out the vegetables. I remember when that game was brand new. I don't even remember how old I was, but we were watching my dad play for the first time, and he pulled the potion out and threw the potion, and it created a door, and my mind was just blown from there on. Like, wow, you can make a door from a potion.
Yeah.
And from there on, I was just sold on the entire Mario franchise.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that there's, things that mean to us in our childhood, like everyone's like, oh, that was a terrible movie, or that was a terrible game, but sometimes terrible movies or terrible games or, mean a lot to us growing up, and that tends to happen a lot, so...
Oh, for sure. A game that currently, which is considered a really terrible game, is Sonic Boom, that just came out for the Wii U, and my kids just love it.
Oh, there you go.
They cannot wait to play Sonic Boom.
What do you think, though?
Oh, boy.
That good.
Well, yeah. I'll just say there's been better Sonic games.
Okay.
It's not the worst. It's not the worst Sonic game. It definitely has some good points.
Yeah. What about you, Arthur?
Well, I want to get a little nostalgic, if that's okay. Is that all right?
Of course.
Yeah.
So, I'm
a little smooth there.
we need a saxophone for this. But I got to thank my brother-in-law who introduced me kind of to Nintendo consoles. I was 14 when I really played my first Nintendo games.
Wow.
And it started with the Super Nintendo. It was Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Mario World, Yoshi's Island. Man, they just blew me away. There's just something special and magical, I feel, about Nintendo games, how they do it, just like the atmosphere and whatnot, and like, for me, it's the Super Nintendo. That's where my heart is. All right, and we are back at the Game Movie Empire show. I'm Arthur. I'm here with
Watson
and
Sonic Toast.
In Fringe Radio Pat.
Awesome. We were getting a little nostalgic, and we were talking about our favorite Nintendo games. We're just gonna share some of the games that people in the chat put up. Give me just a second. All right, so let's see. We have Ness from Earthbound. Oh, Earthbound, nice. Great game. You should play Citizens of Earth. It's on Steam. It's like a spiritual successor to Earthbound. Let's see. Someone loves Yoshi, Samus. So yeah, I mean, Nintendo really does create a lot of like memorable characters.
Well,
definitely.
And I think it's I haven't said what my favorite game is. It's not going to be a too big surprising one, but I mean, Ocarina of Time is probably my favorite. However, when I played Wind Waker for the first time, that was amazing. I'm really into Zelda. Like I am a huge fan. But I mean, I played the Samus. I've played the Samus, Metroid. I've played. What was I'm bad with titles, but I played Mario Sunshine or something.
Yahoo!
And I liked that one. And I loved Luigi's Mansion.
So Watson, what do you think of Majora's Mask then, as a Zelda fan?
Here's the thing. When I played it as a kid, it drove me crazy. Like I could not and as a kid I had to have been 9 or 10 or 11. I loved the fact that you can change all your masks and stuff. That was awesome. But the repetition of having to go back to the first day and then go through and then, oh crap, well now I have to play the time and then go back, and that really drove me crazy. I am excited to get it for the 3DS and play it more as an adult, because sometimes that happens, where you play a game when you're a kid, didn't like it, or watch a movie and you didn't like it, but then you watch as an adult and you're like, awesome. Or sometimes vice versa. So, but why'd you ask me that?
Well, I was wondering because, it's got a lot of hype right now because the new version coming out, and you talk to Zelda fans, they either absolutely hate Majora's Mask or they, just say it's the best game, the best of the entire series.
Yeah,
so
it's definitely an ambitious title, that's for sure. But I'm kind of just interested in, I'm just kind of interested to see how I feel of it as more of an adult. So, yeah,
I think it's really funny how your opinion about lots of things changes from when you're a child to an adult. Sometimes you're like, oh, I love this when I was a kid, and you look at it and you're like, oh, this is horrible. Or sometimes it's still just as good as you remembered it. But we have Matthew on our chat. He wants to know, I don't know, Sonic Toast, if you're familiar with the new 3DS.
Oh, yes. I know some about it, some things.
But he just wants to get our opinions on it. I mean, I personally haven't used it. Have either of you?
I haven't actually used it yet.
Well, I don't think it's out yet, is it?
Not in America.
It's not. Okay, so
it'll be out February 13th.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I have the 3DS, and I believe it's a 3DS XL, which is the and like I said, I just barely started getting into handheld stuff. I used to play it all the time as a kid. I played almost every single Pokemon up until Pokemon Yellow, which isn't a lot. I know that. And then so I have the NES one that looks like an NES, which is awesome. But the new one looks really cool. I mean, the one thing that I have trouble with the 3DS is I'll be playing Ocarina of Time, and while I'm trying to push the A button to use my sword to kill him, while it's in 3D, it like all of a sudden there's two of them, just because the vision is kind of hard to handle.
Now, that's one thing that the new 3DS is actually addressing, the one that comes out February 13th, is the face tracking, to where you can move the system and the 3D is supposed to stay good.
Yeah.
Now,
and what I also like about it is it talked about controlling the brightness of it depending on... So that's also an
So there's
optimal
a
thing.
light sensor on it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, one thing I heard one reviewer saying, it actually takes a second. Like, if you move the 3DS, it'll take a second, it'll look off, then it will jump back to being 3D to your eyes. But, it's nice that they are making those improvements still.
Yeah, totally. Like, see that, like I said, that's cool. It sounds like that Nintendo is listening to their consumers, that is an issue. And I watched the Nintendo Direct where they're like, we heard you. You said that, sometimes you just turn off the 3D because it's, it's really hard to view sometimes, like, what I was saying. But I'm really excited to try it out. I just got a 3DS, so I probably won't get the new one, at least for a little while. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited.
Well, I just love how Nintendo, they're always constantly updating their hardware. Sometimes it's little things at a time, but like for me, the original DS Lite, I really loved that one. That was a great system.
And that was a huge upgrade from the first DS before that.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean, is it worth getting a new 3DS just for that? I don't know. I guess depending.
Maybe wait till more reviews or.
Yeah, well, there are going to be some games that will be exclusive to the new 3DS.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles, which is a remake of a Wii game, that will be exclusive. But I'm not jumping on it until like they make a Mario game or something like that exclusive to it. Then maybe I'll.
You'll have to.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. The thing that has me scratching my head is just the marketing. Like in Japan and in other countries, they did the standard 3DS size with changeable faceplates, so you could put your favorite character on, awesome. Right? And in America, they're only doing the XL version that does not have the changeable faceplates. I just wonder, because like the Amiibos, those are selling like crazy in the U.S. Yeah. And you'd think the same fans, who are buying 100 Amiibos would buy 100 faceplates, to switch out on the 3DS.
Awesome,
well, like, I think it was more of an issue with the size. Like maybe Americans like the bigger size screen. But for some reason, they don't have the changeable faceplates on the bigger ones, which I think is kind of a shame.
Yeah. Totally, but that, this brings us up into our next topic about Nintendo. Maybe about a year and a half ago or so, Nintendo was getting into a little bit of trouble. And sorry, Pat, were you? Oh, I thought you were motioning us while we were talking about Nintendo here for a sec. Nintendo was getting into some financial trouble. They released the Wii U. They were coming out with saying that they were doing. People were starting to saying they're not doing so well. How do we feel? Because now it seems like Nintendo is starting to climb back to the top. In fact, in a lot of cases, it is on top. What do we feel like? What did they do to make that change? First, let's start off with why do we feel they were kind of in a run? If we feel like they were, and what they've done to kind of get back on the horse, with lack of a better term.
Seriously, I think they were really quick to release the Wii U because I guess they wanted to get that jump start on the PlayStation 4 or whatever, the new systems. And yeah, they were out a year earlier. The problem was they didn't have any like super amazing games for it. There wasn't a whole lot of reason to get a Wii U at first. But you got to hand it to Nintendo. They are very much big emphasizers on quality.
Totally.
Super Mario 3D World that came out last year, that is just an amazing Wii U game, and I'm glad they took the time on it that they did to make it what it is.
Yeah, and I think like their quality is what sets them apart. No offense to other companies, but
some offense. I mean, if you're going to send out a game that isn't quite finished yet.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Sonic Boom.
Take offense, but yeah, like really, they do a good job, and I don't mind the wait because like you think to yourself, okay, we know it's going to be a great game. So yeah, but I think that's the problem with every console launch. I mean,
here was my thing, and I take pride in knowing a lot about video games and things like that. I barely knew that the 3DS was that the Wii U was out. Like I barely found out. Like I just don't feel like they marketed it very well. Of like, here's our new console. Like this is the new thing. Like I was like, wow, like finding out that it was a new console, because even then, it kind of looked a lot like the Wii, and so don't get me wrong, I really, really have enjoyed seeing what they've done with the Wii U, but I agree, really, you can't really release a console if there's nothing to play on it with, and so I feel like they are doing a lot better at that and a lot better at working with things. And I think another good thing is that they really embrace the culture that they've made. Like, and I'm sure you know more about this, Toast, than me, but I mean, it just seems like I love their little humor that they do, and like excuse me, in their Nintendo Directs, and I love everything they do with just their fans. I think it's pretty awesome. Besides the little incidents that they do with monetization on YouTube, but it has to be something that's there. We have a question here. Speaking of actually
YouTube and Nintendo.
Yeah, how rabbits. Do we? So Tyler says on the chat, he says, "Have you heard about Nintendo's new rule about YouTube?" Which I am assuming is what I just mentioned. I guess, how do you guys feel about their rules as far as Nintendo goes?
I'm going to say that it's within their right to kind of. So for those that don't know, and correct me if I'm wrong, essentially Nintendo says, hey, if you want to get monetization from our content, then you kind of have to go through us and partner with them, and then they take a cut of that. And it's within their right because they own the stuff, and maybe in some ways they're just trying to protect their properties, I wonder. But like, I don't know if I don't love it. Let's just say that.
Personally, let me put my 2 cents on this. Now, I do a lot of YouTube videos, and they're all, very much Nintendo-oriented, Nintendo or Sega. And, when I was with monetizing my videos through Google AdSense, I was always having this problem where if I threw in, like, the Mario Brothers theme in the background, it would automatically get flagged. I think it's something automated that catches that song and says it's owned by so-and-so, so I can't monetize, right? But they would still keep the ads on the video, and I would not get any revenue for it. So that would happen no matter what. I think with Nintendo's new program, if I were to do that, I would get a portion of that monetization, which is nice because, my viewers are watching the ads anyway. So I think it could be a good thing in that sense.
I think you make a very good point. Touche.
Yeah, toast.
Yeah. So it's a sad thing, but sadly it's their right. I hope they do loosen it up a little bit just because I feel like it's free advertising. I mean, you have quite a bit of subscribers on your channel. Anytime you talk about, a new game or something, that's basically free advertising for them. I mean, they don't have to pay you specifically, and so... So yeah, well, thank you for asking that question. Please continue to ask us questions. Either call in. The number is for Utah is here 801-254-5855. Anyone outside of the country or not in Utah, you can also call in at 1-888-919-2355. Call in, ask us questions or whatever, or you can jump in on our chat, which you can find at GameandMovieEmpire.com. Do we have another chat up too?
Or the Inception Radio Network.
Or the Inception Radio Network. Awesome. So what do we hope and what do we think about the future of Nintendo? This is an awesome question, but we kind of also need to make sure that we talk about Sonic Toast here as we're getting close to ending our time with him.
Wow, time flies.
Oh, I know, right? So what do you think, Sonic Toast? What do you hope that either Nintendo keeps doing or does do, or what are you excited for?
Well, Nintendo, I think as long as they have Shigeru Miyamoto, they will be fine. That guy is a creative genius, right? And, right now they're doing the Amiibos, which are selling like hotcakes. Yeah. It's crazy. I think I read earlier it sold something like 200 million or something like that worldwide figures, and each one is like $13. So holy cranberries! One thing that I would love, I love when they get innovative. They did the Wii U gamepad, which was a little ambitious. I'm not super crazy about it myself, not as much as it was the Wii and the motion controls. But I would love to see something new like trampoline gaming, where like when you jump on a Goomba, you're physically jumping on a trampoline kind of thing. Like you feel like you're going up in the air. I would love to just see him expand more into more of that, give you the experience of what it would be like to be that character in the game.
Yep.
Well, I that makes me think that I just love how Nintendo, they innovate game controls. Like everything they've done has been followed by the other companies. With like the D-pad, analog stick, motion controls. But that reminds me, I don't know, have you played Jungle Beat? Like the original?
Oh, with the bongos?
Yeah, with the bongos.
Oh, I love that game.
Like, that is just something that, like, what is that? Like, where did that come from? I love it. It's fantastic, but that's just something special, you know?
Yeah, it works great with the Donkey Konga game. You're playing music, but then they do a full-on adventure game. And personally, they did make a Wii version where you have normal Wii controls, and I like that version a lot better. But still, with the bongos, it's still a great game.
It's fun. But
I'm, and like I said, big Zelda fan, but the new games that they said are going to come out this year are starting to just look awesome. So they're not just, sticking with Smash Brothers and things like that. They're just coming out with so much more stuff. And so so we're just sorry, got a little distracted there. So I'm really excited, and I think they just need to keep going. Like, there was a time where it even got to the point where I heard some people saying, like, man, what if Nintendo goes under? And I was like, don't say that. Why would you even talk about that? And I was like, because I really feel like Nintendo is here to stay. It is something, I feel like, PlayStation 4 and, PlayStation and Xbox are great, and they do great things for gaming, but they just don't have the magic that Nintendo does.
all right, welcome back, folks. This is the Game Movie Empire Show. I'm Arthur. I'm here with Watson and Sonic Toast and Pat. And let's see, where were we? We were talking about Nintendo.
Yeah, I think we need to
Stuff with Nintendo. Everyone likes Nintendo.
I guess we could talk about that if you want. I think that was next on our agenda. If you want. And then maybe in a, because we still have quite a bit of time. Then we can talk about.
That's true.
So.
Yeah, let's just talk a little about 3DS then.
I have a very special announcement to make in front of you, to all of our listeners out there. So, as I mentioned, I owned a Game Boy back when I was younger. I played and beat all the original Pokemons as far as, that was available to me. I'm sure there might have been others, but so I had...
Did you catch them all, though?
I did catch them all. I was very, very into... So I had green, red, blue, and yellow. So all the ones that were available to catch in those, I caught and beat. I just, destroyed those games. But I won't lie, and this is going to be embarrassing, but after that, I really never picked up a handheld device for quite some time. Well, up until recently, when they said that they were releasing Ocarina of Time on the 3DS, as well as Majora's Mask, I started thinking very heavily about getting a 3DS. Well, I got one, and I got the NES one. Now, I was very reserved, folks. I won't lie, and I'm going to be brutally honest just so that I can completely destroy the point of view that I had. The point of view that I had before about, handheld owners, I was just like, well, those are extreme geek people. I don't know. I don't want to touch that. And, I kind of just thought that the games that were there were mostly strictly anime. And then, I'm not going to lie, I thought people that played Pokemon nowadays, I thought that was kind of weird. My friends, I could have not been more wrong. So I got, and I'm here to announce to you all, I'm coming out of the nerd closet. I got Pokemon Y. As well as Ocarina of Time. And I gotta tell you, it is the coolest game. I am proud to say that it has brought me my love again for Pokemon. Don't get me wrong, I don't tend to catch some of the newer Pokemon. I tend to try and keep the ones that I'm very familiar with.
Come now, you gotta catch them all.
Well, there's just some of them that I just don't like they made them really, really cutesy. And even the older ones are cutesy, but I don't know. There's a pig on a spring, and I just do not like that one.
You know that one's 10 years old now? You're
Really?
way behind, yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I guess I might be offending people. But I got to tell you guys, I'm apologizing in front of everybody. Pokemon still got it. Pokemon is awesome.
Well, Watson, let's hear your best impression of any Pokemon you pick.
I guess I'll go with the most simple one. Let's see if I can do it. Pika? Is that pretty good? Pretty good. Okay. I don't know if I can do. I always do them when like they show up on my screen, like Squirtle, Squirtle. Oh, there you go. Nice.
Schnabble.
Yeah, we are officially nerds. But so I'm proud to say. So I kind of like wanted to talk about handheld gaming and 3DS and just like if you are not gaming on a 3DS. Or, you know, some kind of... I have a lot of experience in, like, PSP and, like, Vita, and those are great things, but they never were enough that I was like, yes, I want them. Oh, I forgot we have questions. I'm sorry about that. We'll get to those questions in just a second. No problem. My point is, and I'll just be really quick, if you're not into 3DS gaming and you feel... or handheld gaming... especially with Nintendo, but you like Nintendo, what are you doing? Like I really ate my opinion up and was like, Watson, you are stupid for thinking those kind of things about it. But what do you guys have to say?
Now here's the major question for you, Watson, specifically. Have you set up your Street Pass on the 3DS?
I have, and I got to tell you, that is awesome.
That is addicting, is it not?
Yes, it is so genius, and I have friends among 3D, you know, and you know, thanks to Utah Gamers, you know, I have, which if you are not a part of Utah Gamers, you should join that on Facebook. Just look up Utah Gamers. Little plug there for you.
Yeah, seriously, the Street Pass.
Do
though,
Blastoise. Oh man,
you
I'll work on my
3DS
Blastoise
everywhere.
Adam, and I'll get it. Yes, right, and then
Yeah.
you get to. Oh, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant idea. We have to have some quick questions because we need to talk about. So what questions do you have for us, Pat?
Okay, one question was from Bill. It says, what about the development and the resources that go into a game? Are there budget and time restraints, and would more development time and money go into a successful line such as Mario?
Well, I'm gonna say like the bigger, more complex a game, you know, the more developers it takes, the more time, manpower. You know, a lot of times maybe they'll contract some of the grunt work out to other companies, but like the bigger the game, the more people got to work on it. So
Okay.
And yeah, there are definitely deadlines. I mean, like they usually when they announce a game, it's not done yet, but they usually give a date of when it will be ready. And so they got to work hard. They're working, you know, weekends and everything to get those out on time.
But just because they have a big budget or a big team doesn't mean it's going to make a good game. Just want to say that.
Gotcha.
yeah.
The second question from Carol from California is, has there ever been an ET/Alien themed game that has achieved any success?
Quite the opposite.
Well, I mean, E.T. is infamous for being like one of the worst games ever
And
for
was
the
it on
Atari.
The Atari one, yeah.
I've never played it.
Which actually there was a rumor forever that they took the remaining ET games and buried them in New Mexico, and
in a landfill.
it's true. They actually went there not too long ago.
Yeah, there's
and
a
dug up the
documentary, right?
games. Yeah. So, yeah, there's that question. Any other ones for us, Pat? Or did you have something to say about that?
Oh, in a similar note, recently they incinerated like 3 tons of iCarly Nintendo DS games that they couldn't
Take
sell.
that.
Totally. Any other ones for us there, Pat?
That was it.
All right, perfect. So let's...
Nifty.
Let's...
Oh, yes, there was one more.
go
Sorry.
ahead. No,
It
you're
says,
fine.
do they have any puzzle/adventure games on the Nintendo?
Puzzle and adventure.
All of them.
Yeah, you know, lots of puzzle games: Tetris, Dr. Mario. We're talking about just the original Nintendo, right?
What's your favorite puzzle games?
I got to go with definitely Tetris because you know that was the first handheld. It came with the Game Boy back in the day. I took that everywhere up through even high school, college. Just loved Tetris.
Awesome. Well, there you go then.
And obviously Zelda. I mean,
Technically, that is puzzle. Yeah.
Captain
Is it?
Toad?
yes.
Oh yeah, that's the new one. That one's a lot of fun.
There you go. All right. Cool. All right. Well, we're gonna switch it a little bit over here. We're gonna talk now. We're gonna focus because we have about 10 minutes left with the hour, and then we're gonna take another break. But we want to talk specifically about you, Sonic. First off, thank you so much, Matt, Sonic Toast, for coming on the show
Yeah,
and
it's
giving
fun.
us some awesome insights. Really, Nintendo, we just barely did the tip of the iceberg. Like, I
Barely.
feel like we need to have you back sometime soon and just devote some good quality time on Nintendo.
Yeah, I'd be more than glad to come back.
Well, good, because you're coming without your permission.
Yeah,
So-
tie me up and drag me over here.
Exactly.
At least we won't have to kidnap you.
We'll pull a Bowser. So let's talk about your YouTube channel. What exactly is your primary focus, and what do you like to do on your YouTube channel?
Well, I am majorly just a geek. I love Sonic the Hedgehog, love Super Mario Brothers, so that's pretty much what I focus on. And I have been changing my focus a lot. I started doing stop motion animation with the characters, and then started moving on to doing game highlights, a lot of Super Smash Brothers emphasis, and I got really tired of doing that, and so now I'm looking to do different stuff. A lot of YouTubers have been giving me suggestions of doing news. I'm looking more towards puppetry maybe a little bit. I like doing that, and might get back into stop motion animation,
which I believe is one of your most popular videos, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I did one stop motion in 2013, which totally boomed. It's as popular as all my old stop motions. They're like 5 or 6 years old.
Nice. Any other questions for him?
Well, I'm curious about the puppetry because I'm a huge Jim Henson fan.
Muppet guy,
and I love that stuff. What are you looking at with that? I mean, can you share anything?
Yeah, sure. Honestly, of course, I want to stay Sonic and Mario focused. So they make these backpacks of the characters, like big plushy backpacks. So I bought those of all the characters. I plan to hollow them out, turn those into puppets, and do some fun stuff with the Mario and Sonic.
So, and I saw that you did kind of a puppet thing when you announced that you were coming on our show. So is that kind of what you want to do with it?
Yeah, that was more of like a ventriloquist kind of thing. I'd rather do more of I don't know, maybe game reviews or maybe.
But in those characters?
Yeah, as the characters, Honestly, I'm kind of tired of being in front of the camera myself. I think I'm ugly.
Well, and we have always talked about doing some kind of parody, and I think that would be really fun. One idea that we had, and correct me if I'm wrong, we wanted to do kind of like a reality show type thing, right?
Right, yeah, we've been talking about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think that'd be really fun. You guys will have to let us know what you think, but we were thinking about having we don't want to give too much away, but we were thinking of making it kind of like a Jersey Shore type thing where everyone is kind of like Sonic and Peach are kind of like looking modern, while Mario's still trying to stay true to the originals, and they're kind of giving him backlash and stuff like that. I think that could be really funny if we did something like that. So
yeah, that could be fun.
Would you still be down to something like that?
Yeah, down like a clown, Charlie Brown.
Well, there you go. You heard it here. A Game and Movie Empire exclusive. I feel like, this is just as big as Christopher Lloyd saying that he could make a Back to the Future 4. So you heard it here for the first time. Well, cool. So what got you started, and what drove your passion towards Nintendo? What was that got you to where you are?
Oh boy. Well, my parents have a home movie, Christmas 1985. I'm 1 year old, and there's our family got a Nintendo for Christmas, and there's a shot of me lying there as a baby next to the Nintendo in the box and everything on Christmas morning. So it's something I just kind of grew up with. And then 1991, they started with Sonic the Hedgehog. I saw the commercial for it. It was old ladies like, "Oh, Sonic's so lame. Why can't he be more like that nice boy Mario?" He said Mario. That caught my attention. And it's like, wow, here's this cool guy who's cooler than Mario. So then, all through the 90s, I'm like conflicted as, do I still love Mario? Do I love Sonic? Which one's better? And finally, in the early 2000s, they're on the same system. Like GameCube is like the ultimate system to me because that was the first one. I had Mario and Sonic on the same console. I didn't have to buy two consoles or anything anymore. I didn't have to choose which one to get. So yeah, it's just something about it. I don't know. I think I prefer games over traditional storytelling because you are the character. You choose what they're going to do. And that just makes it so fun and so exciting. A character like Mario, who you grow up with, who's always happy to see you, hello, it's a me,
Yeah.
It's just
Here we go.
Yeah, you just got to love that.
Totally. And see, when I was a kid, like I was telling you during the break, I was really into the NES. That's what I had originally. But then, like my very own console was a Genesis, and like Sonic was huge. I had Sonic Pinball, I had, which
Spinball.
Drove me crazy. Okay, yeah, Spinball. Drove me crazy, but I loved it as a kid. And then I had the Sonic, it was like 3D one. You might have to help me with these
Sonic
titles.
3D Blast.
Yeah. and I loved it because like you collected all these little bird thingies and
the
then threw them in
flickies.
the.
Throw them in the rings.
Yeah, loved that. And then, and then I had just, the original ones, which was awesome. And I think what I loved about Sonic was just, most of the games, it was just like, whoop, yep, you're walking around here. And Sonic was like you could just go fast and go through all these things and stuff.
If only they could see your fingers.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
He's going
going
his fingers
through
around.
and going like this.
That's
I guess
Sonic.
you don't know.
Going through
just imagine-
loop-de-loops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm doing my finger in loop-de-loops for all those out there. So
But you think about it, Sega made some huge strides with the Genesis. You look at the game Sonic and Knuckles, you attach another cartridge into that to get more content, like Sonic 3 and Knuckles is what the game becomes when you attach Sonic 3. And that was like the best Sonic game ever.
yeah, I love it. And maybe not talk about, but I really liked. And I don't know if you've ever played this, but Earthworm Jim was probably my second favorite.
Groovy!
Yeah, exactly. Arr, 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 every time the dog would try and get you. Yeah, I really liked Earthworm. And then the hardest game I ever played was Vector Man.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that one was such a hard game, but it was fun. And it was like, it was crazy because it was actually starting to do like 3D-ish type, stuff. And so that was really cool.
Sonic, been great having you.
Rabbits.
We want to know a little bit about kind of where things are headed for you. Also, if you could let us know where we can find your channel for those. And everyone, please check out his channel. Yeah.
Okay, friends. Well, you can check me out on youtube.com/sonictoast. And where I'm headed, just wherever the gaming industry is going as far as mascots, Mario, Sonic, those are my favorites, like I've been saying. Well, yeah, I'll just be there to comment on or to make fun of or to do whatever.
One thing I wanted to suggest, I know you wouldn't get any monetization, but every time I jump to your channel, I always see people saying, you should do gameplays. You should do gameplays. Is that something that you're interested in maybe sometime?
A little bit, big thing for me is just buying the software to be able to record your video games.
It can get really expensive, especially if you have to do it on the console or playing old school games.
Yeah, and honestly, I really want to do more of my own thing. I feel like a lot of people do the Let's Plays, and they're fun to watch. People do a great job, and I could do that. I guess in somewhat of a perfectionist way, I'd feel inadequate if I were to be playing the game and I die too much or something like that. So self-conscious.
That is a very intimate thing to share your gameplay with another person.
Yeah, well, there you go then. Well, great. Thank you so much.
I may get into that, though. We'll see.
Oh, cool. Well, we'll see. Awesome. Well, thank you so much once again, Sonic. You're awesome. Please check him out. Sonic Toast. I mean, really, just type Sonic Toast in the search bar.